because if you have a new type of data set, and if you have new types of tasks, it might be very difficult to anticipate what you actually need interactively in order to solve a specific task you haven't seen yet. Right? So therefore, it might be much easier to say, okay, you have the data set, you also have all the tasks, the queries, whatever, and then you can start and build your thing. Whereas even if I give you a few examples, then you would need to anticipate the wealth, the possible universe of queries, which already for LSC is sometimes difficult when you come up with a new way of phrasing things and say, oh yeah, but this is only answerable because of this type of information I never considered. And even though it was always there, nobody ever looked at it because it was never used. So therefore, I would really emphasize the asynchronous part of this for new stuff. And if we want to do interactive things, then they should be reasonably close to things people are already familiar with, right? Because we see with VBS and LSC how high the barrier of entry already is. And if we then say, okay, we're now going to do something that is more complicated than this, or even at least more new, there's completely clean slate. And the people at this table will not have a lot of time to actually participate in this.
Nobody does it, right?
Yeah, right. Because because everybody here is involved in actually building the back end of this. So there's not going to be participating teams that are sitting here.
TPC chair,
This too. But this is an independent problem. But even saying, look, everybody here is probably out of participating because of conflict of interest and because we might already know the ground truth because we have been there. So that already cuts out a whole swath of people who already have the experience with this sort of stuff.
So it has to be easy.
It has to have the task can be difficult to do, but it should not have it should not be difficult to attempt.
So how would you design the asynchronous part? It would still be interactive, and we would still give rules of time limit, or
I would essentially have tasks where we do not specify very closely how people solve them, and just do the classic. Look, here's a bunch of queries. Here's how we're going. Here's the format you're supposed to present your results in. Here's the metrics we're going to use. You have 3 months.
Yeah.
Go.
And you have a limit. Like let's say you do an interactive task, you have a limit of 3 minutes per task.
Well, not even necessarily, right? Because you can. Dragvid also did this. You can just say you have to specify how you did it, and then we say if you have a thing that is completely automated that does not require any human input, then it goes into one bucket. If you have a thing that was human machine collaboration, it goes into another bucket. And then you're supposed to report, of course we cannot precisely validate this, but you're supposed to report the time, the number of rounds, or whatever is applicable for your approach. Again, this needs to be somewhat broad because people might have very different approaches to do this. But ultimately everybody just generates a rank ordered list of results or whatever fits the actual
or the answer if we do question answer.
Yes, or a string or an integer value if it or something like this, and then we will evaluate this in a maybe fully automated. If we just have a ground truth we can compare it to, maybe a judged, and then we do all this pooling stuff.
We probably have to do a pooling because the data is going to be too big.
I mean, for some, I can think of some types of tasks. So, for example, if you, and this is something I alluded to yesterday. I'm already having sneakily repositioning stuff all around the house. So there are some things, and I'm not going to go into more details because otherwise I'm going to giving away the task.
Was that cacao powder?
No, not the cacao powder.
And not the chocolate?
Also not the
The
chocolate.
banana?
But I mean that might also be a type of where was the thing kind of task. Because then there is we actively interacted with the thing. There's also some things you're probably not going to interact with, but that if you look back at the video, you will notice that it was there, but you probably haven't paid attention to it. And now everybody's looking at it, trying to figure out what I might be talking about.
I'm extremely bad in that.
I'm
Can
gonna
I replace it now and
I'm gonna tell you eventually. Right? But essentially, okay. Tell me all the locations where that thing was across the time, right? And then it's somewhat automatable.
And you've got a record, right?
I have notes.
No, that's enough. That's good enough.
That's very interesting for this virtual forensic stuff that Zeno and colleagues do at Netherlands Forensic History. They have this virtual forensic lab and so on. And I think this is kind of going a little bit also touching sister communities, I have to say.
I mean, the other thing is you have the receipts from shopping, so you know how much stuff we bought of which things. So
Yes.
It strikes me that-
that's
You
also
should record
interesting.
them, yes.
That's
I
also
have
interesting.
a photocopy of them all, or a
Yeah.
picture of them all.
Yeah.
Not
Except
quite
your-
on the
except your
very
big
the very
one,
long
big
one.
one,
Yes.
So where's the video camera?
And what the stuff you bought today
because
is not
then you
on.
have it as a hidden
I have
ground
it
truth.
on the camera.
Yes.
If it's not on the
Yeah,
camera,
okay,
then you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to
It strikes me
hidden
that is a very nice hackathon task. The diet. Generate the recipe book.
Yeah,
That's a simple hackathon task
yeah,
that we
and
can
I
actually
think
set.
this is what I meant before.
That might
like
also be a
there is
challenge
work
task
on-
though, because that can be
That can
run
be
through.
evaluated,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
We can
Yeah.
evaluate.
We have to,
this.
so we actually have to make our own recipe book again after
What,
this.
what I
with
what I would
details.
also like to do, what I think would be interesting more for maybe the computer vision focused people, is if I brought the camera, right, and I'm gonna take some pictures later, and we can release some of those pictures, but not others, and then say, okay, what did the camera see? Reconstruct the image based on, you have a bunch of other cameras, you can reconstruct the scene because at least much of the environment doesn't change all that much, so you can probably generate a very accurate 3D reconstruction of the environment. And I'm just gonna, you get a few training images to learn the properties of the camera. And it's like, okay, what was the focal length? What are the sensor properties? Yada. And then we have the images, and then I can even do a just pixel-based. How accurate was the reconstruction?
I like that.
It's great.
I also brought a thermal camera that we can
Yeah,
take
you
some.
said that.
It's very low res and
Yeah.
it only does pictures, but we can run around with this and
Yeah.
take some pictures and see if that gives something interesting.
Can I just I'm thinking about another one that we did once, and it's funny. So you have Google Street View for most of the cities, but in Amsterdam many years ago we started thinking with the city. When I say city, Chief Technology Office and Data Lab, it's a bit risky, to use commercial products because at some point they even change the terms of service, or they start charging insanely high, So Amsterdam has own panorama vehicles, like many cities. You capture them with moving cars or even from the boats, there are cameras mounted there and you kind of stitch them into omnidirectional panorama. So interesting, we used it for some things, aside that you need to anonymize it properly and so on, but we used it for obvious stuff that our community would use, detecting objects in a public space, monitoring state of assets, like in garbage we even did and so on and so on. But catch is, so now comes interesting thing. So in a big organization like a municipality of that size, you have 50 to 80 departments, and they have all product owners and so on, managers basically, and if they find it interesting enough, to incorporate this into their pipelines, then it can be expanded and so on, and it can actually save costs on many things. So the city organized once a hackathon. I was in a jury, and that was really interesting. So on the first day come people from different kind of departments, and one is basically monitoring state of the advertisements in a public space. It's kind of you have to pay a tax to put anything in a public space as an advertisement. Apparently in many cities, people just hang something, hoping nobody's going to see. And there are even strict regulations on, for example, light pollution. You know, like if you put a light symbol there, well, it may be preventing people from sleeping. You know, and so on. So anyhow, the head of department came and he was really like, "Hey, look, there are these panoramas, but we have no idea what they can be used for, and we are totally willing to invest this much and this much. You know, like if we see kind of evidence that you can reliably detect automatically all the advertisements in public space." So there comes another person that says, "Oh, if you can show us this and this." So there were like 5-6 people that came, and for 2 days people were busy really, and actually they were even kind of sometimes describing it very vaguely, but they were like really, hey, there must be something that we are not seeing there, because otherwise we would be probably using it. If you find something useful in it, when it comes to advertisement and so on, please also let us know. So, but I'm going with this one. We have this data now, so for a hackathon, I think it would be handy to give some guidelines, kind of give some ideas. Hey, look, invite some people from our community that have been working on food, like Tatsen, Chongwag, and so on and so on. They kind of say, hey, look, this is what community has been doing. Some people that were doing this could be in this direction, doesn't have to be the same, you know, like, and then give some other hints what people use it for. Recipes, you know, like there is this 1 million recipe, you know. We attempted to cook Asian food in Ireland, but I'm quite sure and it tasted great, but it's probably not the original ingredients. So what did we get?
Just enough.
Close enough, yeah, but close enough. That's really great. What did you replace with what? So I think that kind of stuff, and then kind of that's hackathon. And I think for Grand Challenge, at least I think we need to keep some interaction, because if you look what most of the people do, like in NeurIPSI, Cyclears, computer vision conferences and so on, it's mostly fully automatic stuff. And this is like sports event. It's fun. It's I think that's some kind of joy that we are bringing to the table of a conference, any conference.
Absolutely, but then again, interactive has a high barrier of entry, so it should not be exclusive.
Yeah, I think what's coming out from the conversation is there's an asynchronous task and there's a synchronous task.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
The
doing
asynchronous
both.
task is going to be lower barrier to entry. Any student in any university that can get his hands on 20 terabytes or her hands on 20 terabytes of disk space can process a data set,
Student.
can process 24 queries or whatever we decide to do, send in results, pooled relevant judgments, submission back, whatever, right answers back, results back. And those that want to do the interactive element will come to the actual conference definitely, right? And they will take part in an interactive Grand Challenge, which is part of the conference. That's why they asked us to do it, right? They wanted the VBS and the LSE in because
And we need more interaction.
Yeah.
Like we forgot that
Exactly.
one. Like that was the thing.
It's a very simple
Multimodality,
thing.
agents, interaction. That's like basically 3 cornerstones.
So if we take it back to the simplest thing, there's a ad hoc and there's a Q&A set, right? And then we lead to a synchronous challenge, which is ad hoc and Q&A, maybe something else thrown in there. People know well in advance. And that's the first year. And next year we use the same data set, do it again with a grander set of challenges for people. That does look at their recipe creation or whatever it is we decide we want to do. But we get it kicked off where we can show the success by having, what is success, 10 participants?
Yeah,
That's success
I
for
mean,
us.
ideally this would then also grow over time,
Yes.
because there's a lot of data that, well, there's a lot of data augmentation that can be done.
Yes.
So ideally what I would like to see at some point, which should be very doable for a large fraction of time. So most of us are going to be visible by at least one camera most of the time. We have a trajectory that can be reconstructed just based on the sensor streams that should be in this. So you should not only be able to have the position of every person in time, you could also do the full pose reconstruction, have all the skeleton control points. So you essentially can back project the people into the space, how they were posing, and then do this for all the actiony things, interacty things. Even if people want to do robot-y things, right? You at least have a armature, how did people interact with stuff. But this is not necessarily very difficult from a technology, or at least from a science point of view, right? So methods to do this exist. It is just going to be work. to actually do this.
But is that a
So we will probably
CVPR
not.
grand challenge then?
Yeah, so we're not going to release this in February with a high fidelity annotated skeleton postings, because even if somebody wanted to do this, it would just take some time to
But
develop.
wouldn't this be something someone could do for the hackathon?
Yes, something
Yes.
like this. I would
But
totally put
just
something
bear in
like this
mind-
on the list.
The hackathon
I mean-
focus was healthcare / wellness.
Yes, but
Okay.
even
No,
I
you could
mean,
We can do two, right?
Post-reconstruction is a number of healthcare applications.
Motion of somebody, motion of an elderly person around the home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is social interaction
We
healthcare,
need to start
mental
knocking
health?
people over onto the ground.
Right.
I don't
Sanity checking.
think you wanna go there.
Alright, the social
yes,
interaction.
no,
Meaning,
absolutely.
think of us, you know, like.
But I guess for the
Evaluate the average sanity over
for
time.
for the hackathon, I would even keep it more open and say, look,
Yeah.
this is the broad topic. These are some possible things we have come up with that
Yes.
we think would be interesting. You are supposed to, if you want to participate, sign up, propose a team,
Right.
propose a task, and probably we will just accept everything that is sensible,
We'd be happy
and as long as we have the capacity, and then our hackathon chairs are going to figure out all the rest, and possibly maybe we can get somebody to sponsor a best hackathon,
Conference
something.
right? Yeah. Sponsored by ACM Multimedia 2025.
I mean, one thing I was thinking also, I mean, for this tutorial on XR search, one insight was basically there's work on mixed reality search engines like they do at Basel, but there is no way of evaluating them. So
That's
this
fair.
could also
Yes.
be one thing. Like, I mean, I was thinking you have a lot of things happening in the kitchen. So you could be in a real kitchen where you have items that you could use as query objects.
Mhm.
So this could also be an exploration of like how would you set up a comparative interactive environment in which you test XR or MR search, right? Which is really something that's not there yet.
Totally.
Which is interesting enough because there's commercial interest in actually building such
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and there's, I mean, it's very wild west these days, right? There's
Yeah.
people trying all these sort of things. It's very niche at this point in time, but ubiquitous computing has been a buzzword for a while, and it is cooking
Yeah.
up every once in a while. So I would not be surprised if there would be more commercial interest within the next few years to really try and put products into people's
Yeah.
hands. I don't know to what degree these products are driven by needs, or to what degree this is driven by what can we currently actually make work.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's also like always like having a new feature for every release of another generation of devices,
Yeah.
of course, because just saying, okay, there's now a few 100,000 pixels more again. At some point, it's not the most catchy argument. So you
We've
need-
run out of things you can
Yeah,
perceive,
yeah.
right? So
Okay, so what's the next steps? Somebody writes down what we came up with, and we have a discussion again.
Everyone is everything is
well, I mean,
documented.
everything is everything is.
Another suggestion, maybe just a small one, to spice it up. I started thinking of
Spice.
spice it up. Actually, hey, there was this article, you know, like speaking of this pseudo psychology, you know, like about organizational theories and so on. Have you ever seen a
Well, you told me about
Atlantic?
it,
You take a sheet of paper, you literally salt it, you smash it right away, and it reduces your stress. It was very well known in some journals of dubious science.
Just so the sheet of paper.
Yeah, actually unbelievable, but okay. So, what I was thinking, you mentioned that I just read an article, I couldn't believe it. It's actually some very well-known names they made. So, putting a pepper on me maybe reduces my stress. But do the salt and then anyway, and for yourself as well.
Yeah.
So, what I was aiming at, somebody mentioned that we are going to be familiar with the data set and a process. People around us also a little bit more, you know, like because you tell colleagues, friends, you know. for a hackathon, maybe it could be a good idea to assign to each team that applies, and we ask people to apply beforehand, a shepherd, somebody who's this or that way involved. And we kind of also organize it as a competition, meaning that shepherd is going to be guiding the team. You see where I'm going, and helping them make the best out of what they want, not really telling them what to do, but kind of trying to squeeze. I see some fronts, probably not a good idea. I was thinking let's say Werner takes team A from Tsinghua, and Kahal takes a team
Oh,
from...
you're doing it like some American Idols or like
Yeah,
something.
no, this is something. Why not? It's an interesting approach. I like the idea. I'm a bit worried about its implementation because many people on this table are going to be very busy these days, especially during the time of that hackathon.
Yeah, we won't have any. Actually, half the people here won't have any spare time during that hackathon. Actually, you won't either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
Because it's going to be in a weekend, is it?
we should ideally have some time during that hackathon, because if we are busy running around, then something went horribly wrong
Well,
at
in
that
most
point in time.
cases, it's the general chairs that will be busy handing out whiskies and stuff during the conference. So you guys should actually have an enjoyable week in reality, so you'll have time to do stuff.
Well, I guess before the hackathon, it could be in the preparation phase. It could be light involvement, and I guess someone needs to be there anyway during the hackathon. So, I think this shepherding idea could work. I'm not sure, because you said putting it more in like a competition. I don't think. I mean, there might be very different ideas, so you can't really compare them. So
more of a jury kind of thing.
Which is okay. The TPC co-chairs will only be really busy in June, right? Chasing down 1,000 missing reviews or something.
Oh man, program and all the things.
The program stuff will happen in July, right? Once you know all of you'll have lots of time. Lots of
So much time. You will not know what to do with
You will
all
have
that
4
time.
weeks during the conference.
Not know what to
Okay,
do.
but remember, there's one thing we have to keep in mind. Whatever we decide to do for the hackathon, poor Vincent will be under pressure to replicate it next year. So it rolls on.
Yeah.
Not entirely convinced that this is our immediate problem, because we need to make it first. We need to make it work the first time.
We need to make it attractive without
then
then
you'll
you'll
learn
typically
lessons
take
from
part
it
and
and
not
maybe
take
you
part.
change. So
But I think
Finally.
some kind of reconstruction data
I love it.
documentation, make it very flexible.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can propose some health-related topics like recipe
Generation
sanity
is
checking.
beautiful.
I don't know.
I love that.
If you can evaluate, if you have ways to evaluate, public mental health, can you apply them and give people sanity ratings and see whether there's a decline over the days of the workshop? No, whatever you want. Right?
Anything left to decline?
What's also interesting is all these. If you look at what people do with this tracking of elderly homes, I was mentioning, are people, for example, classic question, did they fall? Okay, that's not happening here, hopefully. So far nobody fell, I think. but the thing
Kyle said it's a dry house, that's why nobody fell.
We're just gonna throw more banana peels and stuff.
We should do that.
But another one, for example, that they were catching, and there were commercial products also like on it. Are people hydrated enough? Did they take enough of this? Did they take enough of that? And so on and
This
so on.
is like what's going to be really useful for elderly people, independent living.
Now we are hitting all
They
the
won't wear
subjects
this,
somehow.
but they may have those guys.
Yeah, exactly,
So the
yeah.
data sets are really useful for that. So that's kind of a challenge, isn't it?
Totally. Maybe we get in touch with the
I have a
case and,
company. I have a
people.
company that does that as well. Not I have.
I
We
mean-
work with a company that does that. But they'd be really interested in sponsoring something like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do this with proxy task. I mean, this is the drug I'm supposed to take to keep me alive. So did I get
This is
my level
true.
of-
Your vital dose of caffeine.
Exactly.
But it all ties in with the recipe generation. What did you put in the meals? The amount of consumption that each individual person has done. Can we pull that out of the two cameras or just
did we get a variety of nutritional ingredients?
It's such a nice data set.
Allergy warnings.
Yeah.
We have to at least get 2 years out of this data set before we make a new one, though.
I think that's
Bigger and longer,
Yeah.
with bigger SD cards.
bigger, more everything. I think this is something that is on the agenda for later in the week
This was
to see what if we had infinite time and infinite money.
Yeah. Well, this was done on a massive budget. That's why we're at the end of the world. If we had done this in Wicklow beside Dublin, short drive, access to more facilities close by, it would have been double the price. So we had a rough envelope of 10,000.
Yes, and I mean these things
We
are
have those already, right?
these things are nice. They're not. If we had designed this from scratch, this would look different, right? But
then I would have had around 20,000 because I would have had to put together something.
Yeah.
We happen to have these.
no, if we had designed this from scratch, you're talking quite a bit more. But
We can always
remains
ask.
to be seen.
We could get these police like body cams and
We actually we thought
They would
about
be
about
worse.
strapping these on here, right? We thought about this.
This was the
We didn't
first.
do it.
This was the first idea we had. So just
In fact, you still like that idea.
Do the harness. Do the harness.
Yeah.
The problem with the harness, if I have the camera here, and I do this, right?
Yeah.
I
Allie's
can
looking there, but the
already
camera's looking there.
move my eyes, and you will have no idea where I'm looking at. But at least
but
if
you
I
will
move,
have
at
an
least
We'll
if I
mount it to the eyeball next
if
time.
I move my head, at least you see what I'm looking at.
If somebody builds a
Eyeball
tracking
mounted.
camera with eye movement detector built in,
I mean, honestly, there are like fairly compact sensors for eye tracking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
not like the one we have in the other room.
No, but
certainly-
there's things that could be done
If Luca has a lot of time to build it,
if it's
right? This is the problem.
feasible. I'm not an electrical engineer, so this is this
Like-
probably if
Everybody
you
gets a
actually
Vision
need to do this.
electrical engineer.
glasses frames, two cameras, eye tracking with movement,
Right.
it can all be done.
It can be done.
And a battery pack.
To be fair, even in this like version, as long as there are two people sort of facing each other, there
Yes,
should be a
this
way
is-
to reconstruct
This is definitely also some data augmentation thing I would want to do, right? If I look at you, can I reconstruct based on your feed where your point of attention was at any point in time,
Exactly.
given
yes.
given
Yeah.
that I
that can
see
be such
yes.
a cool
Yeah.
task.
Yeah.
Actually, estimation from another person's another point of view.
Yeah.
That
Speaking
would
of
be
which,
really
Kaval,
like-
I think
Yeah.
your camera is also a little bit high.
Is it?
Can we reconstruct everything in
can we
VR?
just like do one thing because
Yeah.
Klaus now asked
Yeah.
me what did we finally conclude. So actually also no.
For the challenge, for a challenge.
So just like
little bit
for
further?
catch and also for
I
basically
think
maybe it becomes a
that
task.
is
Can we
fine.
now summarize? This is what we think now. Grand challenge is roughly going to be just as a summary. If somebody can
Yeah, you're
repeat. This grand
Okay.
challenge. This is going to be hackathon.
Better.
Bit high still.
Still a little bit
For-
high, but
for-
the screen is not on, so I can't.
So guys,
Yeah.
summary coming.
Yes.
I think this is better, yeah.
Everybody look at Luca.
No, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that for the actual challenge, we can have several subtasks that. So I mean, first to Drax, the interactive thing, that stuff is happening there on site, and the more traditional, you send us results, we're going to tell you how well you did. Non-interactive stuff. For the former, it will probably have to be reasonably similar to the two interactive challenges we've already been doing. So have some instance retrieval and have some question answering with a human in the loop.
And we
aspect.
would like to attract VPS teams and LSC teams,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we would do judging maybe with a few people from
Similar.
Yes.
Similar.
So
Yes.
so
Perfect.
from
Perfect. We are
a
the judges,
setup
yes.
point of view, from an infrastructure point of view, also how the tasks are designed, how the tasks are presented, it would be the exact same thing as VBS and
So
LSC.
and then it could later go to the VPS and LSC, but for the first
Yes,
time
we might
yes,
even
They say multimedia.
push
Yeah, they say multimedia.
push this
Yeah.
into one of those
Yeah.
possibly, which makes the communication to the people reasonably easy. I mean, what we might want to do anyway is just write a brief. If you have never heard of VPS and LSC, this is how it works kind of document, which we're missing anyway. So
Yeah,
onboarding
we should do
for
as-
new
yeah.
teams is hard because you essentially have to chronologically read a decade of publications to see how the stuff actually works. But that would be the interactive one. And then there's a bunch of logistics we need to figure out, but this is essentially just work. So this is not difficult.
And for non-interactive, we could do almost the same tasks, but asynchronously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus more stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So
But
some
I
of
mean-
the things that we've said that we can actually evaluate that are different type of tasks, as in reconstruct this view from this point. So I actually took the picture, but I'm not showing you the picture.
Also,
Or
point
the-
of view, like region of interest / salient objects or eye gaze
That might be-
from another person's
That
point
might
of
be
view.
difficult to evaluate because we don't have the ground
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
So this is more of a hackathon kind of thing.
Yeah. Or
Because there we can
Preparing
look
it
there
for
we can
future
look
years,
at it
yeah.
and see if it is reasonable. But if two teams submit something similar, we don't have a
Yeah.
precise metric to see how good is this, because otherwise somebody would actually need
Yeah.
to have the eye tracker. Right. So these would be the so that definitely the question answering the instance retrieval stuff in both tracks.
Yeah.
And the non-interactive would have additional tracks for reconstruction-y things that you could not reasonably do interactively. That also would not necessarily need human input because it's more of an algorithmic.
Like recipes or something that we could.
Yes, regenerate this
Yeah,
recipe.
yeah.
Regenerate this schedule for this person.
Right.
Count the number of this person did this type or on this day this kind of action was performed.
Right.
This sort of thing. This is still sort of kind of question answering. I would really want to do the visual reconstruction thing for the also so the computer vision people also have an interesting task. Things like that, right?
So just thinking about the reconstruction, maybe something we should do while we're here is taking measurements of all the rooms as a ground truth.
Yes. Do we have
Measuring
a
tape.
Is there a blueprint of the house?
Well,
I doubt they'll give us.
I mean-
Funny. I might get the measuring tape on Friday morning.
Well,
Cathal, that must be if they were selling it. There must be a floor plan. In the Netherlands,
Yes,
at
I'm
least
just
you'll
thinking
find
what
floor
happens
plans.
when I
I'm not sure
contact
how
them
the
and say,
furniture is also.
thank you for the week in your home, it was wonderful. Have you got the floor plans and the measurements? Already I'm thinking, oh, there's a day it's going to be out there with all their beautiful furniture in it. If I ask for any more, I'm a little bit hesitant to ask for that. I'd rather we just take our measurements.
Yeah.
To be fair, I
We-
think most
we-
modern smartphones can do reasonably accurate measurements,
Yeah.
so we can probably just do it ourselves without.
There is a hardware store in the supermarket, so we would have that.
We could get a automatic vacuum cleaner to generate the floor plan.
No, but you presumably, as long as we have a reference object that we know the precise dimensions
True,
of,
yeah.
everything else
Yeah,
could technically
yeah.
be reconstructed based on.
That's dark.
That's dartboard.
Yeah.
I was more thinking about something that is properly
Yeah.
like
Stable and
well, has a pattern on it
knowing-
that you can
knowing-
actually calibrate the camera and
Cathal, you will
Things-
need to walk through the
things-
house with this milk carton, I'm sorry.
things like that. But I mean, or just you can do essentially volumetric reconstruction just based on all these images.
Yeah, no, it's just about like if you want to make it useful, it's as a data set. It's
Yes,
also good
The
to
more
have a
stuff you
ground
have, the
truth,
better,
yeah.
right? Okay, so do you have a plan for thinking about this, and tomorrow we kind of finalize what that looks like?
Yeah. And I guess for the hackathon we discussed a bunch of things that would be interesting, so it might be good. And I don't have the agenda we came up with on the top of my head,
I'm just trying to find a list of tasks.
but it might
It's on
be
the
good
fridge, Cathal.
if everybody also thinks about.
But you have the summary up first day? Something?
What do you mean?
Like
The video.
video or something?
Yeah, I have some metadata
You have the big thing
of
on,
the
yeah,
this is
video,
different. This is different.
types.
Should we have
I'll come to some of the results from yesterday.
Okay, no taking.
Should we have a viewing of some of the data from yesterday?
Viewing on the data set.
Viewing, probably not.
Of the funniest things that happened yesterday.
I don't have that technology.
Okay, before we get up, I want to draw the list of tasks that everybody should be kind of doing it over the course of this time, right?
Right.
So we have cooking, we know that already, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's cooking something. Everybody's cleaning after cooking, right? Everybody should be doing the reading experiment. On and on will chase you down.
Okay. Can you try later if it makes a difference?
Again,
Let's not all do the reading experiments on Friday afternoon, right?
No.
It's not the most fun element, but
How long is it?
it?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Everybody has to
No, sure, absolutely.
read
20.
I mean, if
a book, right?
Allowed?
if it's
I was doing reading aloud.
Yeah, but the should
Can-
be the guideline. Do you want?
It's up to you, right? It doesn't matter, right?
not going to be done.
I'm just thinking, what's the benefit of reading it? Read aloud.
To
I mean, why not? It's extra data, right?
Then get some audience.
Very weird. Read out loud.
I was doing
Imagine you have a kid there.
XDD. Oh, is it XDD?
Then I'm already Vietnamese.
Yeah, no, but the thing is,
We've already done the Christmas tree.
That it's not a problem with the USB connection. So
Everybody should at least try to make noise on the guitar, right?
afterwards.
All right.
Noise on guitar. I won't call it music. On guitar.
So, do we have a printer in the house?
No.
No. Okay.
I
need some cord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rig up some
No,
cord.
we're getting the third laptop.
Yes,
But I
I will set up that device later.
One of the
today.
helpers can do it, right? Just need to.
No, we can do. This is a task. We can do. I will set
That's
this
all.
machine up later today.
Okay, so this is reading
chords.
music.
That's
We
all.
will?
Well,
Chords.
I tried
Guitar
to
chords.
With Ubuntu, and then you
With-
can do whatever you want with it.
With tab/chord.
It directly boots into some MIDI thing.
I
and
tried
that's-
to-
Not everybody can do laundry,
I
so I'm doing laundry. and
I
stuff.
tried to ignore you.
Rồi rồi.
Yes. Install some musical qualifications.
Plain.
Okay, so games, and games will be multiple. We have wooden block game,
Oh yeah. That's
excuse me, wooden block tower game.
wooden block, tower.
If it's tower game or just
Blocks.
Well, there's a tower in there right now, and it's very impressive that it's still standing.
Yes.
Um,
But the question is, how many blocks can you pull down of that tower before it collapses?
One.
Yeah, exactly. No, it looks like zero, right? Before it collapses.
You might be able to
The
take
top.
the topmost
Yes, maybe.
card game,
but
But aside that,
Buckaroo.
Buckaroo,
what?
Chess.
Buckaroo game.
Buckaroo? What's the Buckaroo game?
It's in there.
Chess
it's the one where
Connect Four.
you put the things on the
On the donkey.
harmonium and it throws it
Oh.
off. Poker, proper poker.
What is
Proper poker.
Dublin.
Dublin rules.
Okay, and chess and
then
Connect
it's gone,
Four.
so
We won't get everybody
Table
into everything's in on the table, yeah? Chess, Connect Four.
Connect
I didn't
Four.
play chess since elementary school.
We should
It'd be
have
funny if
the
I
rules
played
are still the same.
darts.
Dash. There's a chessboard. Two chessboards actually.
Chess or equivalent.
I'm not joking.
Finally, a worthy opponent, somebody who plays at my level.
What is the equivalent of chess? What's the equivalent of chess that you have here?
Drafts. You take the Connect Four pieces and you play drafts with it.
Okay. Draft is a
It's an easier game. People will feel less stressed.
draft.
Okay, drawing.
I think it's similar. It's the.
chess program.
It's
Drawing
similar
a
to
picture.
check. It's similar to checker, right?
Paper planes.
What do you
Writing.
drawing with? What you don't have pencils. You don't have
We do.
anything.
We got coloured markers. We got 30 of them.
Oh, I didn't get anything. That's why I had to paint it with like.
What?
She painted a picture with enamel paint used for
Yes, but this is much nicer because the others are
what was that?
crude.
Origami. Paper plane.
I would want some colors, please.
Yes, you have colors. With these colors, you will not be able to achieve precision.
Long game,
It's
darts slash
fine.
long game.
At the end of the day, remember?
That's
Is that it?
This is
Thesis?
Quizzes.
Quizzes.
Quiz.
Happy quizzes. Thesis.
I have somebody handing up a thesis this week if you want to read it. You're very welcome.
That's
the reading task.
Reading task. Somebody please read News PhD. The happy quiz. Anything else?
I think that's it.
I think that's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 20.
Teach somebody a card game.
Teach how to
Uno.
I wanna learn poker because I also don't play that one.
Yeah, poker is there.
She will take all your money.
Dublin rules.
I wanna learn
No,
any
but,
poker.
but definitely, if you have a thing
I
that
will
you
show
can
you.
teach other people, that would be
It's
very
much less
interesting.
complicated.
So I call
What do you mean much
Klaus
less
out of the card game.
How much
You get all your cards.
Yeah.
You're allowed to change one. You go. Simple.
Okay.
5 cards. Oh, I want to go to this one. Take another card. Thank you. Show your cards.
Until you have a
Oh.
very best card.
That is.
It's poker. It's proper.
No.
It's a version of poker, yes.
Okay, and how many rounds of betting are there?
What's the rule?
You just keep going until you finish.
So,
No.
do you know the
Like,
normal rule
You
of
still bet
poker?
with chips, right?
Yes.
I used to know.
But like, so you
I
get
will
your
raise
cards.
you 50.
Haven't played
Yeah,
it.
no.
And you'll match me.
So you try to get some
I'll raise
patterns.
you. Eventually you stop.
You try to get some patterns
But it should
out
be
of
around
5
before you
cards.
switch your card.
For example, like
Pairs and
yeah.
be more
But his version is that you get 5 cards at once.
But
Their version is that you have 2 cards on your own and 3
No, we don't
and
do that.
the
We
other
can do it.
5 cards on the
It'd be more
table.
interesting with
Yeah.
four.
I think I was
Okay.
playing that one.
Okay, because they.
Proper poker.
But the thing is that the sets
Look,
that you
play
bought.
proper poker. You play some
No.
Texas poker too.
No, but the thing is like the sets on the set there were slots for the cards, so
Okay.
they were playing according to the
We play
set.
snap.
Snap.
What is snap?
Whoever gets a matching card. Snap.
Ah, yes.
It's actually good fun.
Yeah.
Hey, so
if you're 12.
that Dublin poker,
We'll do Dublin poker.
Yeah.
All along you're in.
Sure.
Dublin rules.
Very good. So basically,
Okay, so let me
it's
change
one off, you
poker.
get a
Proper
card, so you
poker
can,
is already in there, yes.
get new
Proper
debt,
poker.
we play proper poker.
Yes.
But that means your credit card is out.
What was
Your
that?
credit card goes on the.
The wallets are
Yeah, that's proper poker. Yeah,
On the
that's
fridge.
proper.
Right. The only thing, not everybody can actually do laundry, but everybody can do cleaning.
Sweeping the house, you mean?
Everybody is expected to clean up after 2 meals, right? Over the course. of
Okay.
time. That's reasonable.
I can do cleaning now. I didn't do
You
cleaning.
cooking? No, you
Yeah,
cooked.
you're
No,
cooking.
you.
Yeah, you
you're the
cook to
chef.
clean
You're the
since the
breakfast chef every
start.
day, apparently now. So,
Self-appointed, plus helping with lunches.
so who was
Did
lunch?
you get the rolling pin when you were shopping?
We didn't, but we got a very tightly wound aluminium foil.
I was kind of afraid that you would say that, but okay. Sure. We can
No,
make
it
that.
was the cheapest one, so it was really small. It's perfect.
Yeah, I
We
saw
can
that.
we
Yeah,
can make that
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that.
We that was the decision taken. Yeah.
Well, he made it.
That's the wrong decision taken.
A decision taken by people.
The other option was we went to Galway and we're still on the way back now.
So I'm
There was no rolling pin.
Order it from Amazon, it will arrive next week.
Yeah, there was no rolling pin.
There's no rolling pin.
There was no rolling pin.
No rolling pin.
Yeah,
We've got the cameras on, so nobody can prove
Yeah.
anything.
There was no rolling pin.
So lunch is
Chicken hot.
chicken hot
Allie,
pot.
yeah.
It's gonna. I'm cooking with you, right? Is
no.
that the plan? Doing it by yourself?
It was just me, Lynn, and Bao.
Okay, fine.
But I thought you'd done a new curry.
How long
Yeah,
will it
but
take?
the thing is that they are not wearing cameras, so I have to do it for them.
Or somebody else can do it.
An hour.
They can instruct people.
Maybe a bit more. because
It would actually
maybe
be much
about
more interesting if it's somebody who has no idea what they're doing.
Right.
And you just have to give instructions.
Oh, if you're willing to have a really bad lunch.
You can do it, right?
If you're willing to have, like, to risk it. We have plenty of food, right?
No, what's the worst that can happen? Famous last words.
If you can tell somebody what to do, just in case, we can do the NTCR queries and get them out.
Now,
Yeah,
on camera.
on camera. Because it's going to be the query's going to be out before the day set comes out.
Yeah, okay.
So it's meta.
Yeah, but can I do it after lunch?
Okay. You cook lunch now?
No, not now, but like.
No, but
If-
you find some volunteers wearing cameras who have no idea, who've never seen the recipe, and then that's much more interesting.
The important thing is that even the person who suggested the recipe doesn't know what he's doing.
That's even more interesting.
So I needed to get more stuff this morning because it is
That's great. So,
But you've made it before.
no.
No. Okay.
So nobody made it before because we actually don't know what we're doing.
It's fine. Let's cook the ham as well.
Oh
The
yeah,
ham.
what's the ham for?
Sandwiches.
Okay, you can do that as a backup.
for the trip back. For the trip back is inside of it.
Okay. Great job.
This is actually
Okay. Who are the
Clean.
two people who are doing the cleaning?
I can do it.
Lovely. You're two people.
Yes, sir.
I'll go back to the laundry. Laundry is in cameras.
It's in camera.
Outside camera.
I think it's outside camera.
Oh, outside.
So I'm gonna do the second camera, observing.
Where do I put this? This is clean.
Over there.
I think
The right one.
What
You have to figure out how to
this
do
one
it.
is maybe done already. So we need to see it.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Ay.
Ah, very good. This is the
Yeah.
leftover
Lấy cả.
egg yolk.
Cái gì?
Put it in
Lấy cả
a
của bạn.
thick shell.
Đã đi. Quen
Không
thì
biết đâu, để bảo.
làm cho chị phải đi về nhà
Em
lấy
đi
đồ.
về nhà để máy đã.
Chị
Em
cũng
đi về để em
chị
có dữ liệu.
chị cũng đi về nhà lấy đồ cái. Từ từ đi rồi lấy.
Lấy gà.
Hey, can I have one and I just do my laundry there?
Chơi cái máy sấy không?
Dạ có.
Okay, that's easy.
Okay.
Có ly gì thôi.
Đi